Hello and welcome to Comic Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Good evening.
Yay. Happy not quite New Year. Yeah, it's the
so close.
The Netherrealm. We're in the no man's land. The time betwixt Christmas and New Year.
Yep. It's always a week that feels like it's going to be longer than it actually is.
Yeah. It's because I can't believe it's Wednesday already. You see, no one's sure. That's what I like about this time of year. Is it Wednesday? Are we doing the Tuesday show on a Wednesday?
Yeah, why are we doing that? It doesn't matter. Days are meaningless now. I mean, to be fair, though, our lives have been like that for the last 9 months.
Yeah,
the only way I know that the week has ended is that it's bin day again.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
And then I have to go through the mental arithmetic in my head of if it's the glass bin day or the rubbish and cardboard bin day.
But that's the problem about this time of year, because we have the same one. We have, every fortnight, proper waste or recycling stuff.
Yeah.
But this time of year they move because of the proximity of the bank holidayness of Christmas, bank holiday and New Year. And it just messes them all up. So you then, I don't even know when bin day is. I can't even use that as my metric to know where the hell we are. It's like, when you get closer to the event horizon of a black hole, and due to the space and time dilation, an external observer would see you looking like you're slowing down. That same thing is why I don't know where to put the bins.
Exactly. I did rewatch Disney film The Black Hole this year.
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
No, but did it explain anything about...
It does talk about that, and that's how interesting the film is as well.
Nice.
It's terrible. So this is kind of a special show, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, it's the No Man's Land week, the Netherrealm region. So it's time to do a special show. Look, we get into the flipping end of this mess that was 2020, this absolute dump in a bin of a year. But there have been some highlights, and on Thursday we'll do the proper look back over the year. But there's one main theme. And that's COVID. And let's not talk about that. So tonight we're talking about the other theme that's not COVID, that's Brexit. It's not Brexit. No one wants to talk about Brexit. We're not talking about Brexit. We're not talking about COVID. We're talking about something else that's close to Eric's heart and is almost as dangerous as the other ones that we've just mentioned.
More so.
A look back at Donald Trump. We hardly knew ye.
The end is near, and so...
It's just like, in a newspaper, they get the pull-out section. When someone's died or whatever, you can get the special souvenir. This is the souvenir episode for Donald Trump. And Donald, if you're watching, and I know you're a big fan of the show,
big fan.
This one's for you.
Yep. So I mean, it's kind of no one else I think has come into the daily news cycle quite like Donald Trump. And when I say come into, I'm not just referring to when Stormy Daniels was spanking him with a Forbes magazine that had his picture on it. I'm talking about the fact that he's in everything. I mean, during the coronavirus crisis, he decided to have daily press briefings, which in a way, I mean, it was must-see TV because you were watching somebody who was utterly insane say stuff that was absolutely batshit crazy. And no one has ever paid this much attention to the president of the United States before. And I think that hopefully no one ever will.
It is true. Yeah, people paid attention to him, and that is not necessarily a compliment because people also pay attention to a catastrophic car crash on the other side of the road. When you're driving past it, you have a little look just to see if a limb's come off yet. Now, that doesn't mean that car crash is good. It means it pulls focus. Donald Trump does the second.
Yes. And it's not something you want to be looking at either. I mean, those daily briefings were just incredible because he would be there. He'd put his advisors on the spot. He would attack press reporters. One of my favorite things, I don't think I ever got a chance to do this on the show, is you'll see him sometimes lay into the press that would ask him questions. But then because he'll shut them down, especially the women, he would shut them down and then he would move on to another reporter. But then because the camera in those press briefings always stays on the president, it never moves from there, you would see him sort of do it. So he'd be yelling at the woman over here. He's like, you know what, you're a fake, you're a bad person, you're everything else. And he'd turn over here. And then that person would start asking him a question. And then if you watched his eyes, you could see him go to the person he had just shut down and check in with them. Like a little, is she crying? Is she upset? Or did I get away with it? She, and it was, to me, that was like a little moment of weakness that just showed in between, that if he was that powerful that he was happy to just shut her down and, put her in her place, he would never look back.
Yeah, like a hero walking away from an explosion.
Exactly. You don't go, oh.
Yeah, just defuse the bomb, jump. Oh, it went off.
Yeah.
Just believe it's going to go off.
But I know one of the favorite things of the year that he did was something that he did at one of the press briefings that you quite liked.
So what about bleach? I hear it could kill coronavirus in 1 minute. 1 minute. So how about maybe we put some bleach up the old poo chute? Should we do that? Should we see? That was unbelievable. Now, obviously, I was going to bring that one to the table of one of my favourite Trump moments because it's a standout one. It became a big part of the show. We did loads of jokes on it. If you go back and watch some of the previous clips, I actually poured myself a tumbler of bleach on one of the episodes and then revealed how the trick was done. But I'm a chemist. It's my background. This is like, oh, he's talking about bleach. Hang on, what's he got to say about bleach? Maybe we should put it inside the body. No, I'm fairly sure it says on the back of each bottle. I mean, I know he's not famous for doing lots of reading, but it's on the back of every bottle.
It says not to drink it. It doesn't say not to inject it.
Ah, does it? Because it's so bad for you. They don't even say external use only. They just say don't touch it. Why would you touch it? Don't touch it. So it was amazing that he thought UV light, because the coronavirus is a vampire. And that's how you should get maybe garlic. Maybe we try and make a little tiny steak, little wooden tiny steak. We stab the virus. Would that work? So it was amazing just to watch someone guessing chemistry.
Yep.
Flipping love it.
But not just someone. The president of the fucking United States. And the thing was, he looked at one of the doctors he looked at in that moment was a woman named Dr. Birx, who was part of the coronavirus task force. Now, because she's a civil servant, and another famous person this year who we would never have known about was Dr. Fauci, who was a key advisor to the president. They publicly feuded, which was often incredible. But because Dr. Fauci was so popular, Trump has not been able to get rid of him. He never likes anyone else to steal the spotlight from him. But Dr. Fauci is so popular. Dr. Fauci is going to be in the Biden administration. Dr. Birx, bless her cotton socks, she was the one that Trump looked at and asked the question, could we put it inside the body? And because she kind of sat there and went, she's out. She's announced this week that she's going to be retiring.
Wow. Because she didn't full-throatedly and wholeheartedly support the idea of bleach research.
Well, I mean, no, but she's retiring because she didn't. The people say she should have stood up to Trump more.
Oh, I see that.
But she stayed in her job, and she was considered to be where Fauci was portrayed as pushing back more. She was seen as sort of acquiescing because she was the one he looked at, and she was, the president of the United States. Normally, that means something. Now it means an orange-faced doofus who deserves to be prosecuted for every crime that he's committed. But it didn't used to mean that.
No, it didn't used to.
It didn't used to.
Times have changed.
Another thing, I mean, there's 4 years of Trump to look back on. But even if you just look at this year of Trump, remember, he was impeached this year.
Hey, had a busy year, didn't he?
That was this year. I know it feels like it was 10 years ago. I know it feels like it didn't happen. The guy was impeached for trying to basically use a foreign country to get dirt on the guy who would eventually beat him by 7 million votes.
In his defense, it clearly didn't work well enough.
Which the dirt?
Yeah.
Or the,
Like, even if he was trying to use a foreign power, he should have picked a better foreign power because Biden still won. So in his defense, which is very difficult if we're talking about Donald Trump, he may have been trying to co-opt foreign powers to help him win the election, but he was not good at it.
I think picking a country like Ukraine that most people could not place on a map, and which Donald Trump definitely could not place on a map because there's no Trump properties there, was possibly a poor choice.
Yeah.
Just saying. Next time, Donald, when you run again in 2024, I mean, how nice is it going to be for the president of the United States to be boring again?
No, you say that, though. What about us? We've got half an hour show to fill twice a week.
There's plenty. Don't worry. Brexit is coming. Brexit is here. We'll be fine. COVID's not going anywhere. We got the super duper whooper strain now. Britain's been cut off from the rest of the world. I mean, there's plenty of things to talk about. Biden is going to be a gaffe machine. He's going to make mistakes, but they're going to be so cute.
But the difference,
He's just going to be so
no, but the difference is we got jokes out of Donald Trump getting COVID, right? We can't get jokes out of Biden getting COVID. If he gets COVID, that's it. All of a sudden, you got a new president.
He got the vaccine last week. We should be fine.
Okay.
Just hang in there till swearing-in day, and then Kamala can take over. That's all we need.
But that's also on my list then. One of the things that I thought was great about the last year of Donald Trump when he got the COVIDs, because we were doing a show, I think it was a Thursday night show, we logged off, we were like, thanks very much, bye. And then we managed to like look at the phones and it's like, oh, Donald Trump's got the COVIDs.
Yep.
And that was an interesting time. I enjoyed doing the Oompa Loompa song. You can go and look at the clips of that. I had him singing about getting the spreading the disease. It was beautiful. It's the way that it was always meant to go, because things seem very tribal these days. No one has the ability, and no one's no overgeneralization. But if you look at the news, you look at social media and media, no one has the ability to process nuance. Like when it comes to masks, you're either in favour of wearing them all the damn time, or you can't abide it, and there's no one going, oh, I'm not sure, but all right. That area never gets lived in by anyone. And the same thing seems true with what was happening with Donald Trump and the approach to the coronavirus in America. It was very much like, oh, it's not really a thing. It'll all be over by spring. I mean, he didn't say which spring. Spring 2027, that one. But I thought it really committed to the bit. And we know in the world of comedy, you got to commit to the bit. And there was nothing more on brand than actually getting COVID. Well done, Donald. Well done.
But then getting so pumped full of steroids that you actually talked with your advisors about having a Superman t-shirt on and ripping your shirt open to say, I'm back, baby. And to be so delusional about how easy it is to recover from it because you got the medicines that no one else in the world can get access to because he was born privileged and he will die in a cell. But he was born privileged. But all of this time, he's just had nothing but the best. And of course, he survives and everything's fine. So why can't those idiots that get sick and die? Losers.
Reminds me of an episode of 30 Rock where Alec Baldwin's character has an idea about the way to make the police protect the millionaires more is to make sure that every member of the police force gets paid over $1 million. So that way everyone's on the same page. If we're all millionaires, then no one will be moaning anymore, which is interesting. I also like the fact that then after Donald Trump had the dirty lurgy, everyone who'd come near him got it as well. That has been so good. But this is the problem. If you say to him, oh, you're a super spreader, he would take that as a compliment.
Of course.
I'm the best. I spread it the most. I created the super strain in my tummy, like a baby.
Yeah. I mean, what was the most shocking about all of it is that, the people around him all got COVID. And one of those people was Melania.
Amazing. She must have got it from someone else. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, that one.
But I mean, if you go back go back even further. I mean, one of the first times that Trump went to a NATO summit or some world summit, do you remember that? This is before we were doing the show, of course. Remember that when we had gigs that we would go to, that moment where he was at the world leaders and that Trump was sort of behind the rest of the world leaders and he was pushing his way through to make sure that he was first.
Yeah.
I mean, that's everything that he did, that he would just put forward and he would demonstrate how deeply insecure he is. Now, he telegraphs everything.
Yeah. That was, and no offense to you people, well, maybe a little bit of offense to you people, that him pushing to the front of other world leaders was the best physical metaphor for American exceptionalism. But surely we're the best. America, #1. You win the World Series every year. Well done.
We are very good
at.
I don't. Well, that's not. We never finished that sentence.
Gun-related deaths,
which is
obesity.
Very good. Very good.
Anything
else?
Yeah.
Baseball.
Spreading COVID. Yeah.
It's just. I mean, but what's good is that we've got, well, I think 20 odd days left of his presidency now, and there's still a lot of fun to come. He's got the pardon power, which basically means that he can just, basically anyone now who sneezes in the White House, when they say, and then they say, pardon me, or if they belch, they say, pardon me. They just get
They get a pardon.
They get a pardon for all federal crimes, past and present. They're just laying around the White House. You just there's just a pro forma, stick your name on it.
Take one, like those guitar lesson signs. You just rip one off the bottom.
Yeah.
Isn't there a problem to do with the fact that if you have been pardoned, you can no longer plead the fifth because you are not going to be incriminating yourself if you can't be incriminated to that crime, so you can't cop out of giving evidence?
Yes, Steve, and I know a lot about this because with my theater degree, I once played Atticus Finch, the lawyer from To Kill a Mockingbird, and so I'm very familiar with the fifth clause, and I can't tell you about it because I would have to incriminate myself.
Right. I also can't tell you about what I'm wearing on the lower half right now because of the fifth.
You would incriminate the poor chair. Yes, there is apparently that. Also, he can only pardon himself from federal crimes and other people from federal crimes. But there's a lot of duplication in U.S. laws where there's state crimes that are pretty serious, and you can go to jail. You can even get the death penalty at the state level.
What a progressive nation you are.
Yeah, definitely.
That's effectively like our version. If we still had hanging, but you could be given the death penalty by a county. That's what it'd be like for us. Like, I'm doing pretty well, but Shropshire hates me. I mean,
you can't cross that Shropshire line.
It's a little side point about the idea of, like, because we used to gig everywhere, and maybe you don't do well. I have been saying on stage whenever we've been able to do some gigs that in the old days, if you just get heckled, that was it. It'd be a bad thing, but you could shout back, you fall out, you move on. These days, if an audience doesn't like you, they can tell their phone that they've got COVID and you have to stay at home for a fortnight. So it's raised the game. It really has raised the bar. That's why I'm not gigging in Shropshire anymore.
No, they will kill you there. But yeah, I mean, we've got these last few days left. There's pardons to come. There's some more obstruction of justice to come. He can still appoint people to jobs that will stay in government after Biden takes over. It's basically just going to be a constant assault on the American democracy. And we're going to miss those times.
I definitely think that Donald Trump will do some things that will help coronavirus, like making sure that some sort of serious restriction is put in place, that you can't risk spreading COVID by having big groups of people. Anything to guarantee that Joe Biden has fewer people at his inauguration than Donald Trump. It's bound to happen. He will close down an entire area just to make sure he gets to go, I had more people.
I think that's kind of why he encouraged the spread of COVID.
Wipe it out.
It's like just basically to make sure that Biden couldn't have a big inauguration, because they've already started making plans that it's going to be more of a virtual event, because Joe Biden is going to be a president that doesn't want to kill people, which, again, it's going to be hard to remember that. It's been a while. Last time was with Obama, but, Obama was a controversial president. I think we all remember the time he wore that tan suit.
Pretty, challenging.
Sorry, just a little sick came up in my mouth.
Donald Trump only looks like that if he's naked.
His lines. There's got to be a line, just like the makeup. Just like the makeup. They have talked about the fact that they're going to have to do a deep clean of the White House. So they're bringing in fumigators to scrub every surface that's been touched.
And someone will say to one of the cleaners, "Oh, is this because of COVID?" And they'll be like, "Yeah." Let's say it is.
Yeah. And it's going to miss. I mean, when Biden is president, and if you've ever seen him in an interview with his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, the fact that they actually have affection for each other. I don't know if I'm ready for that between a president and a first lady.
Yeah, weird.
That's going to be weird.
But then, look, you can't sit there. I know you are politically disposed to being nicer to Joe Biden than to Donald Trump, but
because he's a nice human being, he doesn't want to destroy the American democracy.
But he also will be wanting a smaller group at the inauguration for two reasons. Yeah. One is because of the COVID. He can't afford, even with the vaccine, he's an old man. He can't afford to come near that or the actual flu or any slippery surface, he's an old bloke, he's going to be careful. But also he needs to make sure he's not near people in case he gets back into that hair-sniffing pervy moves he used to do.
Yes. Hey, sniffing hair, better than grabbing him by the,
I suppose the overlap of those two would be grabbing him by the thing and then afterwards just going...
I'm telling you, that's why Hillary Clinton didn't win.
Why?
Well, Donald Trump proved that's what you got to do. You got to grab him by the pussy. And Hillary didn't do it.
I mean, she might have done her own if she was doing a Michael Jackson impression.
Yep.
That thing.
She could tried it. She wore the pantsuits.
Interesting point. I mean, I'm not sure if we could
relitigate. That's not the path I planned on us going down with this look back on Trump. I mean, I'm trying to think what else. I mean, there's so many. I mean, when he would say, what was he called the weapons that we have? Oh, the fact that he thought one of the planes that we have that evades radar is an invisible plane, and he seemed to talk about it in a way that I think he thinks it's actually invisible.
Not only that, but one of the people who works for him has told him there's one on the lawn. There's one right out there now, Mr. President. That's great. I always wanted my own.
He probably thinks the pilot has to wear like a bikini-looking outfit and have a golden lasso of truth. He's like that he never wants to go near. Keep that woman away from me.
Yeah, that's why he never goes out on the lawn. Nice. Are you going to miss him in any way? No.
Genuinely. I mean, yes, it's been funny, and you could take any clip of him and break it down and turn it into 60-odd episodes of an online entertainment show like we've done week after week for months and months and months. But I genuinely have more of a sense of wanting my home country to not completely suck, that I'm willing to let it go.
That's the difference, you see, because it's not my home country. So I was like, it'd be funny though, wouldn't it?
I mean, and Kim Jong-un became a big player in this.
Same deal there. It's not my home nation, so I'm willing to make jokes about the fact that he's in charge of North Korea. I mean, if I lived there, I'd probably change my mind.
But I mean, the bromance between the two.
That's nice.
I mean, that was kind of bringing together two of the worlds that we talk about almost all the time. So, gonna miss that connection. I don't think that's going to be happening under the Biden administration. No. So you're right, Steve. You know what? You're right. I'm going to make some calls. There was fraud in the election. I voted. I'm a dead person. I did votes for my kid. I swung it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and get 4 more years of Donald Trump.
Hey, there still could be, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. There still could be 4 more years of Donald Trump.
Yep.
Nothing stops him from standing again in 4 years' time, unless there's a ramp involved. That might slow him down.
Yeah, that's why he came down that escalator. And now, I mean, could you imagine if he got onto that ramp at King's Cross, that long one, when you come off the Waterloo City line and you go up to, you want to get on the Central line, and it's like that long escalator ramp. You ever been on that?
Oh, Bank. Yeah.
Oh, Bank.
London Underground's longest travelator, the first one that was installed as well. Yeah.
If he ever got on that.
This is the thing. Oh, look, again, I end up having to have the job of defending Donald Trump because you're so against him. So, yes, again, let me defend Donald Trump. When you see him go down those slight ramps, this is not even like a difficult ramp. Like, I don't know, and then there'd be some tweet saying, it was a 35-degree angle. You look at it, you go, it's not. It's an angle. It's measurable. If you're going to lie about something that's harder to disprove than just putting a protractor on the screen.
But he lies about everything that you can see.
Yeah. But he, so you see him walking down these slight inclines or declines. And I looked at that and thought, maybe he does have bone spurs. Yeah. Maybe, because actually, if that's how he walks up and down slight ramps, maybe he shouldn't have been involved in that war. Fair play, Donald.
Yep. There we go. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. Maybe he wasn't dodging the draft incorrectly. Maybe he can't walk that well. Yeah.
I don't know. My dad was in Vietnam. He said there were a lot of ramps.
If that was the problem, that's always the flipping problem with war. War is hideous, man. Mainly just because the ramps.
The ramps. Yeah. Well, we're reaching nearly the end of our little reminiscence on Trump.
Little Christmas special.
There's going to be more Trump because he's not going to go away. He's not that kind of guy. So I mean, don't worry about that. If that was one of your favorite parts, we're going to keep talking about him, because especially once he's no longer president, he'll be even funnier. Because then he doesn't have the nuclear codes. But you have to think they've been swapped away from him by now. I mean, Jesus.
They're buried in the final column of a Sudoku, and to get them, he has to fill it in. We're safe. I love the idea that, because some people have been saying after he leaves office, one of the things he could do is set up a news network to try and rival Fox. I love that idea, because then there would be a ton of clips of him ranting incoherently. It would keep us afloat forever. So, Donald, if you're listening, and I know you're a big fan of the show, set it up. The Trump Network. Go for it.
Years. I mean, we're available.
Yeah.
We would be on that.
Wow, this is where we've swapped jobs. Really? I don't think I'd ever work again if I appeared on the Donald Trump News Network.
Well, you're not working now.
True. Fair enough.
There you go. Well, we hope you enjoyed tonight and are enjoying your mid-Christmas to mid-New Year's Eve. We're going to be back on Thursday, as always. You can subscribe to the channel, as we've had the subscription thing there. You can see our past shows on there. You can tell people about the show. And if you enjoyed at any point what you've seen tonight and what you may see in the future, you can chuck us a drink at the Ko-fi website. And we appreciate your support and watching the show.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Would be nice at Christmas time. Help a poor starving comedian out, Governor. It's all right, peace super, and no mistaking. Just trying to appeal to the Scrooges out there.
Puppy eyes.
That's your puppy eyes.
Was that good?
It was like this. I'm just going to do my puppy eyes. What is wrong with your puppy?
It's the look of a puppy that will kill you when you're sleeping.
Rough motherfucker. Yeah. So anyway, we're off topic. Thursday night, 9:00, do another little Christmas special. Keep staying in touch, send us messages and tweets and whatnot, and I think we're all sorted.
Great. Well, we'll see you then. Thanks very much for watching.
Bye.
Bye.